Hey, Frank Aaron, privacy expert and blackmail strategist. I'm going to talk about protection on apps like Grindr, same-sex apps, where a married man would go and try to hook up with someone for a quick connection, or someone who's yet to be out openly will want to meet someone, build a relationship or just connect with them as well. And the reason I'm touching on this is these types of apps are breeding grounds for blackmailers. Blackmailers know that there are people out there who are looking for discretion, and that, if this content, ever came out, or this information ever came out about them on such an app, it would destroy them, whether it be their marriage, their job, with friends. And so these types of blackmailers are extremely aggressive, and they hammer victims really bad. If you become a victim of a same-sex blackmail and you are married, or you are not open about your sexuality, you're in for a real hard fight. So before you play, think about these things. Number one, never give out your real number. If you give out your real number, the person could search it in a database and locate your identity. Once they locate your identity, if you're married, they'll locate your spouse. They'll locate your job. If you have social media, they'll locate your social media. That's a problem. The other thing is, some phone numbers that don't show up on the database will show up on Google. Another big problem. It's an identifier. Never use your real email address, because you don't know how you set up your email address, whether the other person sees your name, or if they run your email in a search engine. Sometimes databases will, show that you posted something or part of a group somewhere. It identifies you. The other big problem that I'm seeing is facial recognition. You cannot put a face photo on a dating app or a hookup app if you are married, or if you don't want anybody to know you're doing this. The same goes for men who use like Ashley Madison or Tinder, because the person could take that photo, run it through a reverse image site, and possibly identify you. I mean, that's the big problem. So the other thing is, I've seen cases where victims have sent photos and their wife's photo in the background, or they're wearing a jacket that's got their company name here. I mean, you need to think before you go out there, because if you give one piece of information about your identity, these blackmailers will find 20 pieces of your identity. The other problem is victims don't take time to confirm the other person is real. A phone call. I know it sounds crazy. We don't make phone calls these days, but you want to hear their voice. You want to talk to them. You want to know that they are who they claim in that photo or in that profile. Because most blackmailers who are on dating apps, they are either Filipino, or they're part of a Cote d'Ivoire group. They're not necessarily Americans or Europeans. So think about that. What do they sound like? Now, that doesn't mean you let them just send you an audio clip that says, "Hi, how are you doing today?" with no identifiers. Ask them for some identifiers in the audio clip. "Hey, Bob, how you doing in Albuquerque today? Are things well?" Think about that. The other thing is, you can't go live on video with them, because they just snap your photo and that's it. They have your face. So it's an awkward situation that you need to kind of maneuver through. If the person refuses a phone call, or refuses to send you an audio clip of what you're asking of them or expecting from them, you need to walk away and block. It's not worth the risk, and they're probably a blackmailer. But be careful, because blackmailers have multiple profiles. They will hit you up with another profile preparing for what you're asking. So be wise and be very careful. If it's too good to be true, it is. So if you become a victim, you're in for a fight. There's no doubt about that. It's very difficult to get yourself out of blackmail Not that blackmails will necessarily expose you, but it's the stress factor. Knowing that every hour of the day they are hitting you up, threatening, sending you pictures of your wife, your boss's LinkedIn, your kid in college, Instagram, whatever it may be. It's an extremely stressful thing. My suggestion is reach out to me. My name is Frank Ahern. I've been dealing with blackmail for many years. I've been dealing with privacy and acts of indiscretions for way over 20 years. I could take over, move them to my communications. I act as if I'm you. I diffuse the blackmail. I back them off. I prevent exposure or any contact with family or employment. And I get rid of them. So be safe. If you have any questions, reach out.